Coca-Cola has now asked its employees to be less white. I mean, are the majority employees white or black? That's a good question. Either way, are they still acting too white? Is the question. Man. Ted Cruz, dogs away. Dog runs away from him. Man. More news. The third stimulus. Can you lose your payment? That's the question they asking out there. I don't think they actually signed for a third stimulus, so how can you lose something that isn't signed yet? It's interesting. But see if you can find Ted Cruz dog, man. Let's hope that the snow did not get him. Fitting the narrative as they got Cuomo, Kavanaugh scandals. Listen, man, they trying to throw him under the bus and take over NY, man. That's pretty much where they going with that, from the looks of things. 2 men arrested in connection to kidnapping of Utah woman that feared death. Prosecutors just got millions of pages of Trump's documents. They trying to get sliced too. Listen, man, they trying to get everything. The reason why is out of desperation, man. For some strange reason, Biden, has not signed the stimulus. But the good news is, from the great, what you call it, the grapevine. You got a bank out there, Biden, an energy industrial bank that you would like to implement hundreds. Yeah, that's right, hundreds of billions. Like I said, it's a good opportunity, but that's the opportunity lay where it's desperately needed. And right now, from the price hikes of items and things, it's just all bad. And how is that working for you the first day or so? Because like I said, you got the TV rolling, but there's nothing really saying from the little ones as to how they feel about that. How did it work actually? Was it beneficiary, or do you need one of them juicy laptops? Now I know they don't really want to give you a juicy laptop. They don't want to do that. But what can you get in this situation of dire need? Texas is calling you, Biden. He said come down. And another thing too, salute to everyone staying positive in the pandemic, man. It's necessarily needed from the niggerocratic president's standpoint. Because I'm seeing the long-awaited victory for America, if she can sustain herself long enough. It's they still going back and forth with the Capitol rioters and the police. Who's to blame? Listen, they wasn't ready for all of that capacity. And there's news cameras everywhere. Why wasn't it one seeing all of those people marching up to that arena. This is interesting. Ex-girlfriend leads FBI to Capitol, not suspect who called her a maroon. Listen, name calling would not be appropriate in the pandemic. Like I said, anything pretty much can fly. Stay home. Social distance. Gather your loins. Is this about to get real interesting? From the perspective that I'm looking at, for one, those checks should have been here already sliding. Two, I don't hear you talking too much about it. You got a couple other inaugurationables. But that energy thing, now how can I invest? Now you need the millions and billions and a million to billions. How can I invest? It would be a equal opportunity there for the nigga crates. Solar energy, power, nucleus. Oh, and another thing too. Salute to China, man. The lunar years. Lady Gaga offers 500,000 of them things. Hopefully that's towards that Biden sliding situation. I haven't given you the number that sliding and Biden really wants. He haven't really gave it out himself. We're waiting for the numbers sliding. We got an estimate from a few months back where you said you needed 100 billion. Now that number has increased from what I'm looking at. Now you need, I'm sorry, that wasn't 100 billion. Now you need 100 trillion now. From what I'm estimating. It's from the estimation. But we will see if you can get 1.9 trillion from Congress. Good luck with that, man. New public report to blame Saudis. Crown Prince for 2009. Nah, listen. You got two branches of government, either or. That was then, this is now. Gotta move forward, Biden. You can't throw them under the bus after they looking for that, what you call it, that 10 billion they laid down with little hands. They looking for it. It's ante-ups through the ante-ups. It's like the ring around the posy. Pocket full of posies. Ah, man. This is interesting. Even to the point where I'm trying to figure out what can you do next. California is the first state to pass 50,000 in COVID deaths. Listen, man, is this a number we tallying up? Deaths versus losses versus wins. We innovating generations and deteriorating. But at the same time, you'll see how that works out. Which is, the outcome is inevitable. We are in a new stage of life called Corona, pandemic, wear a mask, social distance. The life that we used to know is no longer. The new life seems to be here since it got here. What was my slogan? I didn't land on the pandemic. The pandemic landed on us. 3 million Texans. Let me get that right. 3 million Texans. You need to get down there, Joe, and help them people, man. Boiling hot water. Plumbing is just, they said it's just a disaster. Like I said, man, you can send the troops, but you didn't do that. What did you do? Or you can send out the stimulus, help them out a little bit. The choice could be mine, but America has chosen. Former U.S. gymnastic coach dies. I'm not laughing at that. R.I.P. to him, man. By suicide after arrest for alleged sexual crimes. Listen, that's another thing too. From the looks of things, to have with this thing called the going down there, touching things, is that necessarily needed for the youth? Just looking at it, you pretty much letting a stranger violate that area before anyone else does. So, is it reprimandable? Because in the psychosis of the psychosis, necessarily, you designed a generation of population to not decline the Geminologists. The Geminologists down there. This is it's looking real bad. One for one, because it sends a direct message to the individual that's getting the common knowledge benches done. That they don't really know why they feel like that. Let's get into your inner feelings, especially in a pandemic, because the news and the media, it's not gotten into how you actually feel. And that's part of the Niggocratic movement, is the learning of how you actually really feel. Through and through. You. Oh man, China denies required anal swab. Listen, man, that's what I'm trying to say. That's a violation of privacy, man. That's another monologist right there. That's an anal monologist. I said they had this claw thing opening up the snatch and everything, digging all in it. This is before she can even, And like I said, a previous situation there, I said, is it mandatory for all of this? Or is your internal being violated? Do you feel the need of that? Because we can always have a discussion. Like I said, this is a new way of life. To act as if it isn't would be inhumane. But there's been previous notations of inhumaneness in what we would call previous societies. But then again, does it still exist? These are all questions. Azimuths may strike women and men in different ways of colors. That's how they titled that. It's just that dogs and kids are in sync. Study shows of the coronavirus. Listen, man. Like I said, the energy who has more of it, who has a stronger immune system. Doesn't mean that it isn't. We haven't gotten down to where it came from. There's different saying that it came from an alligator bat, man, or dog, cow, horse. Listen, man, who knows exactly? These are questions. Pandemic is adding stress to teachers and students as to why they can't just remote learn. Sickening, man. Sickening. Joe, could you go down there in Texas, man, and supply the world, instead of taking those hundreds and billions and trillions towards that energy, just give out free energy, man. That's what it is. And 3, send out those kids them supplies, man, them labbity tops, man. It's a new millennium. Oh, and definitely pay the teachers if you haven't already. Because I'm looking at the numbers that you throw out for all of this stuff, and it actually doesn't add up to what you say it is. So, with the freedom of speech, you're entitled to it. I don't knock your hustle, man. But someone said I was wrong. Prove it. Which is, put up everything that you said you wanted to do anyway. So then you can get a true feeling as to what it is that I was saying not to do. So then you can understand and get a fully understandable of it. Oh, man. But you're going to swindle and swindle, and matters are going to get heightened. And then you're going to have to go back to what you was, but it's just going to be the same heightened. Like, you know what I mean? It's just... But then again, you probably won't care or understand it, because you want to start your own bank. Me, I had an idea of one that could save the world without using free energy. Just energy is going to be here, whether we're here or not. And with that being said, peace. I gotta go.